Good morning. Good morning. All right. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. So we are in the very last section, the Aquarian Gospel section of this book put together by Noble Prophet Drew Ali. And this is the final part of the Aquarian section. As we have discovered, this text is compiled, but it's using also a 1920-ish text that was compiled by another religious leader, a Christian man, I would say, Christian preacher around the 1920s. He did this type of meditation that we call accessing the Akashic records. The Akashic records, it's a very rare and hard thing to do, but I guess it was something that was even established back then, and it was a known thing back then. You really only hear about the Akashic records now. It's kind of like a fun, shouldn't say fun, it's an interesting new age topic to talk about, because it's accessing visualizations and memories, essentially, that have existed a long time ago. Okay, it's all the memories and all the recordings listed everywhere and pictured everywhere, from the beginning of time. It's basically what the Akashic records is compiled of, person to person, first person events, that sort of thing. That's what you can access through the Akashic records. So this is where the Aquarian Gospel is said to develop from and come from, and it is discounted due to the fact that, is that a real thing? Is it possible? That type of thing. We do know that people, through meditation and really hypnosis, is really what it is, hypnosis, can access very, very ancient memories, even from past lives, through past life regression. It's something that I'm learning about. But again, it's something very difficult, I would say, to go ahead and obtain and record and be able to demonstrate. So if we're talking about the legitimacy and the science behind it, it's just still in that stage of not 100% proven just yet. But who, like I mentioned before, who are we to say that somebody else's revelation or somebody else's work is discredited because of this and this? Do we have the concrete evidence to be able to discredit somebody? I don't know that either. But we're going to read the final part of this Aquarian Gospel section, and it is Jesus again appearing, fully materialized, to the Eastern sages in the palace of Prince Ravanna in India, to the magician priests in Persia, and then also we have the three wise men speak in praise of the personality of the Nazarene. So he went to India, right, with this Prince Ravanna. So after he rises from the dead, he is going back and he is informing everybody at this banquet what had happened. So interesting. And then we're also talking about the three wise men. Right. Beginning here, it says, Ravanna, prince of India, gave a feast. His palace in Orissa was the place where men of thought from all the farther east were wont to meet. Ravanna was the prince with whom the child Jesus went to India when he was 12 years old. The feast was made in honor of the wise men of the east. Among the guests were Mangste, Vidyapati, and Lamaas. The wise men sat about the table talking about the needs of India and the world. The door unto the banquet hall was in the east, and a vacant chair was at the table to the east. And as the wise men talked, a stranger entered, unannounced, and raising up his hands in benediction, said, All hail. A halo rested on his head. The light, unlike the sun, filled all the room, and Jesus sat down in the vacant chair. The wise men knew it was the Gentile prophet who had come. And Jesus said, Behold, for I am risen from the dead. Look at my hands, my feet, my side. The Roman soldiers pierced my hands and feet with nails, and then one pierced my heart. They put me in a tomb, and then I wrestled with the conqueror of men. I conquered death. I stamped upon him and rose, brought immortality to light, and painted on the walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. And what I did, all men shall do. The gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew and Greek. It is a heritage of every man, of every time and clime. And I am here a demonstrator of the power of man. So stopping here, this word climb, okay, of course I had to look it up. Climb just means like climate, really, like every time and every region, every climate, that type of language. It's a very 14th century, very old English term. So the fact that it's used here, I'm a little bit sus of, okay, when I read it, I was like, But again, this person is recounting and recalling things from a visualization, right? So whether he has all the words to describe what these gentlemen said or how they said it, that's on him to go ahead and translate and recount whatever was visually brought to him and then also communicated to him through like mental. It's like not a, what do you say? You're not speaking, but you're communicating through your mind, telepathy, right? That's how the details are communicated, right? The things that people are saying, it's all through telepathy and visualization. So when he's writing it down and foretelling it, he may be in fact using some of his own language, but that word kind of threw me off just a little bit. I had to look into it. But anyways, then he arose and pressed the hand of every man and of the royal host and said, Behold, I am not a mist made of fleeting winds, for I am flesh and bone and brawn, but I can cross the borderland at will. And they talked together for a long, long time. Then Jesus said, I go on my way, but you shall go to all the world and teach the gospel of the omnipotence of man, the power of truth, the resurrection of the dead. He who believes in the gospel of the Son of Man shall never die, and the dead shall live again. Then Jesus disappeared, but he had sown the seed of the words that were spoken in Orissa, and all of India heard. Sowed the seed, the words of life were spoken in Orissa, and all of India heard. The magician priests were in the silence of Persepolis, and Casper and the magician masters, who were the first to greet the child of promise in the shepherd's home in Bethlehem, were with the priests. And Jesus came and sat with them. A crown of light was on his head. And when the silence ended, Casper said, A master from the royal council of the Silent Brotherhood is here. Let us give praise. And all the priests and masters stood and said, All hail! What message from the royal council do you bring? And Jesus said, My brothers of the Silent Brotherhood, peace on earth and goodwill to men. The problem of the age has been solved. The Son of Man has risen from the dead, and has shown that human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. Before the eyes of men, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with the speed of light from human flesh. And so I am the message that I bring to you. To you I come, the first of all the race to be transmuted to the image of Allah. What I have done, all men will do, and what I am, all men should be. But Jesus said no more. In one short breath, he told the story of his mission to the sons of men, and then he disappeared. The Magi said, Some time ago we read this promise now fulfilled upon the dial plate of heaven. And then we saw the man who had just demonstrated unto us the power of man to raise from the carnal flesh and blood to the flesh of Allah, a babe in Bethlehem. And after many years he came and sat with us in these same groves. He told the story of his human life, of trials, sore temptation, buffeting, and woes. He pressed along the thorny way of life till he has risen and overthrown the strongest foes of Allah and man. And he is now only the master of the human race, whose flesh has been transmuted into flesh divine. He is the God-man of today, but everyone of earth shall overcome and be like him, a son of Allah. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age, and the events after he had risen from the dead. He appeared back to India, Europe, and Africa in the land of Egypt, and made himself known unto the world. These events are the 18 years which are absent in the Holy Bible, talking about the earlier events. And then also to recount, we have the events of John the Baptist. John was taught by the Egyptian sage the meaning of baptism and how to baptize himself. And after he was baptized, he was taken at the age of 12 years into Africa to the land of Egypt, and there he remained in the Egyptian schools for 18 years. And he learned his duty as a forerunner of Jesus. So that is what is detailed in originally the K.O.R.A.N Gospel, and then compiled within this more Quranic text, which we will get into very, very shortly. It's these next few chapters after this. This is from the Holy Koran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali. And that is all I have for you during this time. I do have a few minutes to definitely get into Psalms. We're running a bit late, but I'll be back in just a second. Interestingly enough, thinking about, as we get into this next reading, how Jesus was not so much a host, but he was definitely a guest of many people, of many nations. So hold on to that, and I'll see you in just a second.